thinking this week about uh, generous kids and how generous kids get screwed and how they mess things up for their families as well. So lots of times, not unusual for the kids to lay out money for mom and dad, right? That does happen, believe it or not. And the problem with there's a number of problems, but one problem, of course, is that the kids will spend money on things that mom and dad coulda, shoulda, woulda been spending money on, thinking, hey, no problem. Um, if we have to, mom and dad will pay me back, or I'll get it out of the house, or something like that. Right. So these situations frequently arise. Mom and dad living at home, right? They need a new water heater. They need a new television. They need a new kitchen, whatever. And I'm not saying everybody does this, but it does happen, and fairly frequently. So now the kid lays out the money for the home improvement, the water heater, whatever it may be, and that seems wonderful. Now, it's not that mom and dad couldn't have bought this themselves. They've got a couple $100,000 in the bank. It's just that the kid's feeling generous. Mom and dad are very concerned about their money. There's that financial insecurity that so often comes, no matter how much you've got in the bank. And so the kid just goes ahead and does it out of the goodness of their heart. The problem is, we all have a limited amount of goodness in the heart as well as money in the bank. And mom and dad really should be buying their own stuff. I mean, you say, well, I can afford it. It's no problem. I'll just do it for them. Yeah, but the problem comes when they pay you back. See, once they need long-term care, let's say, and they've got to apply for the Medicaid, because they do, or they just spend all their money down, right? And at the last minute they say, oh, well, I'll repay for the refrigerator, the HVAC, air conditioning, whatever it may have been. Well, yeah, you've got the receipts for it, and yeah, you actually did spend the money, but Medicaid's not going to let you get away with that. They're going to treat that as a gift. Do you see? Giving the money. So you're much better off to have mom and dad spend their own money on their own stuff. Okay, so that's number one. Mom and dad have the money to pay. Let them pay. It's cleaner that way. It works out better. Because eventually when they need the long-term care, when they need the Medicaid, then we don't run into this issue of, oh, well, whose money was it? And that was really a gift, which it really wasn't a gift. Of course, it wasn't a gift, but people think that. Medicaid thinks that, which is really the most, and now they penalize mom and dad. Okay. So now you've really got a problem. And this is true whenever we have money going back and forth between generations. It really messes things up. And I'll give you another example of that later. But so if mom and dad have the money to pay, let mom and dad pay. All right. And you just got to get over it. Okay. That's number one. Number two, mom and dad can't pay. All right. So what happens frequently now is that the kids will go ahead and buy it for them. All right. And they're thinking, well, mom and dad still have a house. Medicaid won't take the house. And when they pass, then the house will come to us, and which is mysterious. They don't really know how that's going to happen. But they feel, well, mom and dad's house, we'll get it. And then I'll get repaid. I'll get repaid from that. Okay. Well, maybe, right? Maybe. Because we got two things going on here. Number one, you've got siblings, and number two, you've got the state of Michigan who wants to get repaid. And this is true in all states, right? Now, in most states, almost all of them, I think there's only half a dozen left. Michigan's one of these that's left. But in most states, you're not going to see a nickel of the house, because when mom and dad go on the Medicaid, they put I call it a Medicaid mortgage It's a lien. They put a lien on the house, and they do this you've heard me say this before. They do this in Minnesota, in Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, right? I don't know how many families we've had move in, farm families from Indiana and Ohio. They come to, they've got kids in Michigan. They come to live with the Michigan kids. Actually, they come to go to the nursing home in the vicinity of the Michigan kids, because they know that if they stayed in Indiana or Ohio, we've had this happen with townhomes in Chicago too. They'll move over here because Michigan isn't going to take the homestead. Michigan is not going to take the farm. Michigan is not going to put a lien on the townhouse in the loop, so to speak. All right. Michigan's not going to do that. Illinois would do that. Indiana does it. Ohio does it, but not us. So they come over here, which why not? We're all Americans and, no border controls, whatever. And your kids are over here. So sure, come on down. And then get the Michigan Medicaid, because Michigan's going to leave the house alone if it avoids probate. Michigan goes after the house, and they do go after the house if the house goes through probate. So if all you have is a will, because everyone said, oh, you don't need no trust. You don't need no trust. If they say that, which is wrong, then it's going through probate and then goes to the kids. Now, there's also the Lady Bird deeds are out there. These are transfer on death deeds. Those are bad for other reasons. We can go into that as well. But the point is that in most states, when you think I'm going to get paid back from the house, well, that's not going to happen, because there isn't going to be a house to get paid back from.